I'm Jim Helsinger, Artistic Director here at Orlando Shakespeare Theatre in partnership with UCF and the director of Cymbeline. Cymbeline is one of Shakespeare's later plays. It's a romance. It's both a comedy and a tragedy rolled into one, going back and forth. And a lot of people ask about it. It's not performed that often, so it's a real chance for audiences to see a play that they may never get a chance to see again. So for those who don't know the plot, Cymbeline is sort of a Roman Snow White meets Middle-earth. It's a lot of fun. It's a fantasy. It's an adventure story. We have a young princess, very like Snow White, and we have an evil queen, a stepmother, and she finds a way to banish Snow White. Our Snow White is called Imogen, and she's sent off into the forest, and there's an evil potion that she's trying to kill her with. And then she goes off to the forest. She's separated from her loved one, Posthumus, and she goes off into the forest, and she meets our equivalent of the dwarves, which actually are the two long-lost princes of the kingdom, her brothers, but she doesn't know that she's been separated from for 20 years. Cymbeline, in its costume look, it starts with basically what we think of as Rome. There's Roman breastplates and the big Roman red combs on the soldiers, and we have gladius swords that we're fighting with. So that sense of Rome, if you've seen the HBO series or anything like that, is very much a part of the show. Then the other end of the show is Britain, and because it's a fairy tale, we're leaning forward a few hundred years, and we're giving it a sort of pre-Arthur Gaelic Celtic feel. And Britain was quite a beautiful country costume-wise at this time, and you see a lot of those beautiful colors come out. Then when we go into the forest, it gets very Gaelic, and that's where we're going to have the blue dye that people have on their faces and woven into their hair, and they're much more barbaric, as you'll see. What made me want to do this play? I think Cymbeline is really a fascinating and fun story, and I think is much more than simply a tragedy or simply a comedy. It's a romance, and it puts all of that together like we like a Disney fairy tale to do. We have a villain that we can boo, we have heroes we can choose to love, but we also have an exploration of moral themes. When the god Jupiter shows up, when our hero Posthumus is thrown in jail begging to die, he's had all he can take. He's suffered more than he possibly can. Jupiter shows up in a dream and says, "Those I love, I make suffer the most, so that when the redemption comes, it will mean more." Very much of a Job theme. And I think that for those of us in trials and tribulations in our lives, we need to remember that we will come through the other side of this. And when we come through the other side of this, we will be better people for it.